Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Board Game Mechanics. I'm Katie, and with me, as always, is...
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It is Jason.
Oh, man, for us, when we're recording, it's almost the weekend, and I'm so excited for it.
I know. I don't know why. Ever since I've been going into the office for work, I know, first world problems. It just seems like the week is super long now. It's exhausting because I have to get up earlier. I could just walk down at 8 o'clock before, or 8:30 or 9, and no one would know. But now it's we got to get there on time. It's stressful.
Yeah, I've been trying to balance working at 3 schools, and it's been a pain. Thankfully, one of those is on quarters, so that's going to end here pretty soon. And I couldn't be happier. I could try, but I don't think I could.
Yeah, I mean, we both do have jobs, so that is a plus.
That is a blessing. I can't complain about that. But man, I'm like, when's the next holiday that I get off?
It's coming up soon.
I know.
We just looked at that.
Just hanging in there. But I suppose we should get started with news because there's all kinds of things to talk about. But we don't want to be on here all night. So I've got 2 really great projects that I'm actually really excited about. And the first one I'm excited about because I have played this one. Look at me, Man vs. Meeple. I played a game before it's on Kickstarter.
Call us the new hotness. Call to the future.
I'm sure. That is Hollywood 1947. And this is from our friends at Facade Games. They are local to us. They are super close.
They live 2 minutes from my workplace now, which is pretty awesome.
I know. It's pretty awesome. We really like their games. They all come in these boxes that look like books. Everything's just neat and compact. Their production is top notch, and Hollywood 1947 looks no different. So this is another kind of social deduction game, some light strategy, and you're actually in the movie making industry in Hollywood. But also 47, kind of this time, right before McCarthyism. People are all stirred up about communists. They're unpatriotic. So everyone is secretly, they're either a patriot, a communist, or there is a third person that you can be. What's that called?
Rising star.
A rising star. I was like, it's star something. A rising star. The rising star does not care about communist or patriot. They just want to win and be the rising star. The communists are trying to get more communist agenda films made, and the patriots are not. So in some ways it has that secret Hitler feel where you're like, okay, what kind of film are we getting? But there's also these really cool job cards that allow you to do special actions, which I think are awesome. You've kind of got propaganda flying around. They have these really neat looking film strips that are colored. They're opaque, so you lay them over top of the films, which all the films have this great artwork too, because they're different types of genre film posters. It's super cool. So you determine what team you're on and you hide it, and then you've got these dice that you can be rolled to see who gets blacklisted for the round, because that happens a lot, right? Then you are playing cards. If you aren't blacklisted, you can play cards, and you can slip in patriot agendas or communists propaganda into a film. And then we're going to see, then everyone's going to kind of use their jobs to give you these different special player abilities. And then we're going to see if the film turned out to be patriotic or communist or neutral. Can you be?
Well, it can only be neutral on the very last one.
Oh, right, on the last one, which is the rising star one. We played this, and I thought it was really fun. I think the theme is cool. I think the jobs are cool. There's also an expansion included called the Costumes expansion. I don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah, we didn't have that. That's cool.
I know, but I'm real sad that I did not get it, because I think that sounds really cool. You get a new character who's the costume designer. And, the costumes look awesome. There's these costume cards. And the costume has the ability to change the game for your side at a certain moment. So you can replace the current genre poster with a random one. Or It kind of offers you like a little bit of something different. I think that's so cool. The artwork is stunning in this. The production is fire, to use those.
I mean, their production is always great, so no issue there for sure.
Right. But this game is super fun. I think it's just it's one of my favorites. And we've played all of them, right?
Yes, we played all of them. Yep.
Yeah, I would say this is probably my second choice. If I played it more, it could easily be my number one. That's
probably where I am. Yeah, we've only played it like I think once, and if we had played it more, I think it would be my favorite because it's simpler, but the actions that you're doing in it are really fun. And It doesn't outstay its welcome. It's super quick, and it's pretty easy to explain. We had like a rough rule book, and I kind of botched it up a little bit. But when the rule book is finalized, it will be easy to teach and learn. Yeah, it's really good.
It's a little bit more streamlined as far as the social deduction piece, but you do get to make some strategic decisions because of those like role cards as far as your different jobs on the set. And I think that makes this one really good. So check this out. Facade Games, Hollywood, 1947. There are 12 days left on this Kickstarter, and the base pledge is $27. That is a freaking good deal. You also get the costumes expansion with that $27 too.
Yeah, I don't know how they make these for so cheap because they look amazing.
They do. There is a deluxe version that costs a little bit more. It just gives you like wooden loyalty tokens.
What about those metal
yes, and then you get the metal tokens instead of the plastic tokens.
The plastic ones are amazing though, so don't think you need the metal ones. The plastic ones are cool.
Right, the plastic ones are amazing. It does come with like a new job. So the prop master is giving out some of these loyalty tokens. There's some extra like posters, expansion posters that can be used, and some new characters, like a makeup artist, which is totally cool. But for $27, the base is good. It's good. So check that out.
Yeah, I'm not a huge social deduction fan, but these games actually have game in them. So all of them, like it's not just, picking something and doing a bunch of lying. You're actually like playing, there's mechanisms, there's a whole bunch of games around the social deduction part, and I really like that. And they look sweet on your shelf, so there is that too.
That's true. Okay, so check that one out, Hollywood 1947. My second one is actually in a line of games that I do not like. And so when my correspondent in the field sent me this, I was like, I don't want to talk about Manhattan Project. But this game in the line of Manhattan Project games looks like one I might like. And this is called Manhattan Project War Machine.
War Machine.
This is from Grail Games. Manhattan Project, right? So this is, instead of being...
Well, they didn't do Manhattan Project. That company's out of business.
Oh, yeah, that was an old one. But I mean, since then...
Minion Games used to do it.
But since that one went under, they have been...
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I haven't done anything with Manhattan Project since we got the original one.
They have a ton of stuff. Oh, my gosh. Medici and...
oh, yeah, Grail's good. Grail's good. Museum.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's Holy Grail. That's different.
No, Boomerang, Whale Riders, The Gardens, Hibachi.
There's a lot of Vincent Dutrait games, too, I think, in there.
Elevensies, The Guilty Party. We just talked about that. So anyway, sorry, Grail Games. I don't know what you're doing. But you're in Australia, and that's really cool. So this version of Manhattan Project War Machine is really about kind of machines, because you are building an engine. Okay, so it's also with dice rolling. We love dice. So on your turn, you're going to roll these dice and assign them to a shared board that are going to allow people to gather resources, gain energy, and build up some engines. But you're like, which one do I want to select? Because I'm also giving other players these abilities too. Then you can assign dice to your own tableau that'll also give you more resources. You can change waste for points, which is, very kind of Manhattan Project-y. You've got all these interesting little engines that you're running, treasury, coal mine, to just produce your points, which I think is cool. Like, I like that idea of building this engine because you're trying to, help the war effort with creating resources and I mean, you could run it really well, lean and efficient, or it could be wasteful but still powerful. I like that might be more of a go your own way kind of thing than the regular Manhattan Project game. So you've got industrial structures that you're building, resources, there's some pollution, you can get grant cards, you can have company cards that'll let you do things. The artwork on this is super cool. It's got this really cool retro war poster propaganda look to it. It looks awesome. I like the colors they chose. It just looks good, and it has mechanics that I actually like. So I'm pretty excited for this. I don't know who did the artwork, though.
It looks like Ian O'Toole, but I don't think so.
Because I think Jan Gonzalez is the designer. But, Heiko. Yeah. Illustration by
Gunther.
Heiko. It looks awesome.
It's a really nice box cover. 100%.
And even like the player boards look good, and I like the custom dice. Like, it just looks like a game. So if you like Manhattan Project, if you like engine builders, if you like really cool art, check out Manhattan Project War Machine. There are 10 days left in this Kickstarter, and the base pledge is $35. Also fairly reasonable, I think.
Yeah, this one looks good. I've only really looked at the cover. I haven't done too much of it, but I like Manhattan Project enough. This one looks like it takes the good stuff from Manhattan Project and makes a better game around it. So that has me intrigued, and it looks amazing. So, yeah, I like this one.
Which I thought you didn't care about how a game looked.
I mean, I do have eyeballs. I do like things that look nice, but, a game doesn't have to look nice for me to want to play it and like it. Hence, 90% of our collection. But this one does look really awesome.
All right. Well, I think it does too. That's all I have for news today. Let's move on to games played.
All right. So we have a couple games played on the docket. And, I'm not going to try to do anything funny here. So let's just go into it. The first game we played, or that we're going to talk about, is a game that was from Tasty Minstrel Games when it first came out, RIP. And then it came out, didn't think it was ever going to get an expansion, but it did. And this is called Crusaders. And the expansion's like Divine Glory, or I don't know, something. Crusaders and the expansion. And this is a Euro game where you are moving across this map, conquering enemies, setting up different types of buildings, colonizing. I don't want to use that word, but that's kind of what you're doing. And trying to score the most points.
You're crusading.
Yeah, you're crusading, but it feels more like colonization than crusading, I guess.
They're the same.
So it's done through this Mancala action selection where you're going to have these 6 tiles. I think there's 6 on your board. And you're going to take the action at the strength of the tokens that are on that tile. You could have 1 action, could have 2. And the actions are build buildings, travel across the map, muster, which is, get some troop reinforcement, get influence, which if you're using the expansion, influence is way cooler. You can try to get these special bonuses on these tiles. Or you can crusade. And crusade is how you're going to defeat the enemies on the board. And you are just trying to do the best that you can, getting buildings out on the board. As you unlock buildings, it's going to make you have more like action, power, and more ways to score points. As you defeat enemies, you're going to get points. And the expansion adds new types of buildings that can be built on top of buildings that you've already built, which is pretty neat because normally in the base game, a hex could only have 1 building. But now if you've built a building there, some of these other buildings can fire off of that for a discount, or you can always just build them there first and, be done with it, but it costs more. So much stuff you can do on your turn, so many ways to score points, and it feels good. I think this is my 3rd time playing this, and the expansion to me is not necessary, but it did add a little bit of just extra to it. So yeah, I enjoyed it. How do you feel about this?
I feel like I liked it more this time than when we first played it for some reason. I'm not sure why. I feel like I got a handle on the game this time. I don't know, which was nice. I obviously don't have a handle on winning because I got like stomped.
I did pretty good at this one.
But I was having a good time. So that makes me wonder, like, it almost seems like you have to crusade a lot, or a majority of your actions need to be crusading in order to win, which I don't love.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you. I got a ton of points from doing that.
Because I feel like I like worked with my stuff on my board, and I placed out a lot of buildings. I was trying to have them like work together, and I felt like I had a good kind of, I don't want to say an engine going, but I feel like I was scoring points. But it's just like you get rewarded more for crusading, and I get it. The game's called Crusaders.
Well,
but there aren't that many people to crusade against necessarily. So why do I have like 25 pieces of buildings on my board if I'm not actually going to be rewarded that much for them?
I will say that the expansion, like without the expansion, you could spend influence and take the influence action and just get points. When you're using the influence action with the expansion, that pretty much goes away. It doesn't give you a ton of points that way now. So in the base game, you could spend, you could have an influence action of 9, and then you could get 9 points. So it's like you're crusading, but without having to actually go and fight the people and get into their location and waste some turns. You can just take advantage of getting those influence points. So maybe because that was in there, that's kind of why it felt like it was a one-way path.
Yeah, so that's my only complaint. I still enjoyed it. I just don't necessarily care about the crusading part sometimes, because I'm like, why have a whole bunch of other actions, movement and build, and influence, those things that are not directly linked to crusading, if I don't see those as viable out past a victory. But otherwise, it's still a good game, still fun. Just doesn't fit my model of favorite games, I guess.
Yeah, it did feel like, of all the times that I played it, it did feel like the crusading was the most important this time. And because we used the expansion, I don't know, maybe that's part of what the expansion's trying to get you to do.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I like it. It's a fun game. Next, the last game we're going to talk about today, just for the sake of time, is one that was actually in my top 10, I believe. And I thought we already talked about this. Maybe we didn't. I think.
Maybe we did last. Did we talk about it last week?
I don't know. Let's look before I go into this too much.
Yeah.
I don't want to like make the people hate what they're listening to here.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yes, we did talk about it. So pretend like I never said what I was going to say right here. And I did some research, and we're going to talk about a different game that was also in my top 10 from the same company, and it's called Tapestry. So we played a 3-player game of Tapestry. And
nope, it was 4.
Oh, yeah, it was 4. You're right. A 4-player game of Tapestry. And 2 people had never played before. We just played base game. I think I mixed all the civilizations together, but I tried to give everybody easy ones just so we could get going, and we used base mats and all this stuff. But I had all the cards from all the expansions in there. And I think it went well. It seemed like the other 2 that were playing, your cousin and her husband, seemed like they had a good time. If you don't know what Tapestry is, it's what I like to call Tracks the Euro game. It's nothing but tracks. It's a board filled with tracks. There is a board in the middle that has some stuff on it, but it's effectively a track too. And you are, on your turn, you're either going to move up on a track by paying some resources and doing the action, or once you can't do that action, then you have to take an income turn. That's going to give you points, some cards, some tiles, give you resources to keep going. And you're just trying to, at the end of 5 round, like eras, I believe is how many there are, you're trying to have the most points. It's a really simple game. It's 2 actions. You're doing one of 2 things on your turn. But whenever you move a cube to that space, it's going to unlock a whole bunch of different possibilities. There's tons of cards that you can get for your tapestries. There's tons of technologies, piles of these awesome looking buildings, and it's just a fantastic game, and I love it. So how'd you feel about Tapestry this time?
I still like it. It's good. Every time I don't try different strategies necessarily, but I try to just go with one that's working for me. And like, I was way behind in points during the game. It just wasn't happening for me. But I decided to invest heavily in the technology track, I believe. That's what it is.
Yeah, the yellow one?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, I feel like it paid off in the end. I was ranking up some points. Also, my Tapestry cards worked with that, so that's why I kept going on that. And I feel like we each kind of did that. Like, my cousin was like, okay, I have a lot of cards that go with this military thing. I'm just going to, like, explore everywhere and put these buildings on the board.
She stole my path.
Yeah, she was really into it. My cousin's husband, he was like, I just want to go to space. So all he did was invest in the exploration track. And we were joking. We're like, so you went to space, but you didn't develop any science at all.
Or technology.
He's like, nope, we just gave some guy some shrooms and said, hey, you fly the space shuttle or something. I'm like, yeah, taking it on faith.
I did the science track, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So we all did our own track, not, exclusively, but, those are the main ones we focus on, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So again, for me, like, I really love a game that has a multipass to victory. Truly, you could take anyway. Like, I think, I only missed out on the win by just a handful of points. And that was after kind of lagging behind because I wasn't doing some other like big actions, like discovering and rolling the dice to get points that way. So I really like that all options are valuable. Unlike Crusaders, like I feel like this game does reward. And again, unlike a lot of Jamie's other games, I like that this one, you play those eras. At the end of the era, we see how everyone's choices worked out, who made the best choices or which way was, able to get the most points. I love that. And that's why I think this game is good. This setup's kind of a big pain.
Yeah, it's annoying.
But it is really fun. It's still fun. So yeah, I really liked it again.
Yeah, this is one of those games, if I know I'm going to play it, I want to set it up ahead of time. And then, when everybody's ready to play, then they can just come sit down and we can go. Because, yeah, the setup is a pain in the neck. But it is a great game. If you haven't played it and you like Stonemaier games, check it out because it is totally worth it. All right, so those are the games we played. Let's move on.
All right, so we have already teased what we're going to talk about this episode in our last episode because they are related. So last episode, if you didn't catch episode 249, we discussed our most anticipated games that are hopefully going to release in 2023. Well, in looking over that list, I found so many expansions or reprints of games that I am so pumped about, and Jason as well, that are coming out this year, and we thought, let's talk about those. Some of these you may have heard me discuss when they were kind of in the Kickstarter phase. Some of them are already that far along. Others are kind of yet to be revealed. So we're going to count down. Each of us have a list of our top 5 most anticipated expansions and reprints of 2023. So Jace, kick us off.
All right, and I am actually going to follow the rules today. All mine are expansions or reprints. So unlike last week, I'm being a good boy and doing what I'm supposed to do.
I yelled at him repeatedly, so he had to get his act together.
She hit me where no one could see.
Nobody can see you since we're on the podcast.
That's true. So she can hit me wherever, doesn't it?
That's right. Right in the face. They don't know.
All right. So my number 5, speaking of hitting, has nothing to do with hitting, but I just wanted to say that. And
hey, you say hit me.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You can say hit me. And it is Lords of Vegas Americana. Now, this was recently on Kickstarter, but they were wanting an obscene amount of money for all this, so they, it didn't fund. They pulled it down. Before I go into what this does, they did announce a new Kickstarter with reasonable prices, some changes to what they're doing, and it looks more appealing, which I do appreciate. They listened to the people. Good job. So, Lords of Vegas Americana is basically new boards. There are Reno, Tombstone, Atlantic City, and New Orleans boards.
Ooh.
There's a deck of poker cards, Tombstone character tiles, a Reno arch tile, and a New Orleans riverboat tiles. I don't know what any of that means because there's no videos. There's like no information for this other than that. But just having the new boards is cool. Character tiles are always fun, so maybe you get your own player ability or something. I'm down for that. I love this game. Having more maps, more ways to play it is cool for me, and I can't wait to try this. So my number 5, Lords of Vegas, Americana.
Yeah, I'm glad it's become more reasonable because I assume you'll want to back this because you want to have everything.
Yeah, it's only $40 now, which is way more reasonable than it was before.
Exactly. I mean, we're not like those crazy people at the Board Game Rundown, Bob, where they have to buy like a special fancy briefcase to carry those around in. So better be reasonable.
My base box works just fine.
My number 5 is one that Jason has turned his nose up at because, he is Mr. I Hate Hype Man. But I actually enjoyed the parent game of this Arc Nova. And they're coming out with an expansion called Arc Nova Aquarius. And I love the idea of adding more animals because that's the reason why I like Arc Nova. It very much has, yes, it's like I like Terraforming Mars, but it's not space themed. And sounds great to me. I love the idea of making a zoo. I mean, I feel like as an 80s, 90s kid, early computer and video games prepped me for this kind of theme. So in Aquarius, there are sea animals. Makes sense, right? And so you have to build their enclosures next to water. And then half of those sea animals are actually reef dwellers. And so they've got these abilities that trigger when another reef dweller is played, which I think is really cool. One of Jason's beefs with Arc Nova is that it can go on too long. And so with adding more cards, that could be a problem. But they actually have built in like a diluting deck mechanism where the C cards actually have a wave icon, and that's going to signal to discard some cards to kind of move the rows along and move the cards along. There's also a new university. The other really cool thing is they're trying to add some more asymmetry to the game. So you've got these 5 action cards, but now there are some alternate versions where you get your standard cards, but you can replace 2 of those. You draft 2 new action cards. And so like the build action, for example, can allow you to spend maybe 2 money once per action to build over a water or a rock space. And then like the upgraded set of that card could let you do it for free. Like that. That's cool. I like that. So it's not just, let's add more animals, but it also is kind of upping some of the gameplay and the strategy and stuff. And I am here for it. So my number 5, Arc Nova Aquarius.
Yeah, I do like that card thing. That card thing sounds cool when they it thins itself out a little bit. I approve of that. All right. So my number 4 is weird. It definitely doesn't feel like a game that should be talked about by me because it's dexterity.
Well, it's not. We talked about by me. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's flicking and it's from Awakened Realms. All those things are usually not my jam, but for some reason I like this game. And this is Flick of Faith, and the expansion is Cherry Blossom. Now, the BGG page has no information on this. The box has a cover and a back, but it's in a different language that I can't read. But the description says it's going to add a 6th player. So apparently the original could play 5. I've only played it at 4, so I don't know. It's going to add Japanese gods, and it's going to have a co-op mode. So now instead of playing against each other, you can play together, which is pretty cool. It doesn't seem like it's changing the base game. You're still going to be flicking, trying to, control the territory. So a flicking area control game. But now you can play co-op, which is cool. So if you're into Flick of Faith and you wanted co-op, you like the Asian theme, which Katie does, now maybe she'll want to play this game a little bit more. Check out Flick of Faith, Cherry Blossom.
Yeah, I highly doubt it. I do love the idea that there's cherry blossoms. I mean, who doesn't love to add some Japanese theme into anything? But you're still flicking things, and I'm terrible at it. I either can't flick it at all, or I flick it too far, and I hit someone in the head. I just can't do it.
I hate flicking stuff too, but for some reason I really like this game. I don't know why.
The art's cool. Like, the idea is fine. I just suck at this so bad.
Yeah, it is tricky to flick. Like, it can get a little crazy.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I can't be trusted to play. My number 4 is a game I also really like. I love the original, and I believe I talked about this when it was on Backer Kit. And that is ArchRavels Magic Socks. So this expansion allows you to have more people playing. So you can have 5 or 6 players, which I think is cool because this is a pretty quick game. Turns are pretty simple. I actually just played this, I think on New Year's Eve, with my sister-in-law.
Oh, yeah, you did say that you played this.
Yeah, and she really liked it. So I like the idea that now you've got these, like, crafting gnomes that come to town, and they've got magic socks. And they're like, hey, I'll trade you some magic socks for that teddy bear. So you can trade them stuff, and you get these magic socks. And the magic socks give you, like, special rule-breaking powers, which I think is cool. And there's new special projects, which the special projects are cute, adorable, and I love them. And they're like punny, like you've got a couple new character types, which I think is great. It's just more good stuff. And the game was not overwhelming, so I think I would love to play it with a little bit more. And it is short enough, quick enough that playing with a couple more players is no big deal. So I am pumped to play ArchRavels Magic Socks.
Yeah, I do like this game. I don't know. Maybe this will make it a little bit deeper for me because I just feel like it is a little simpler. So maybe this is what I need to like it a little bit more. All right. So my next game is actually a sequel to a game that is pretty fantastic and is different than from most, well, not most, but a lot of games that I've ever played. And it's called Lawyer Up. And this one is Lawyer Up Season 2. And this basically is more cases. But this one throws in a 2 versus 2 variant because it gives you enough prosecution and defense decks so you can mix the new box with the old box. So you can play more than just 1v1. It can be 2v2 now. And the new cases are Casino Heist and a Divorce Case. And the Divorce Case is adding a new type of card, which is a Secret Attitude card, which is going to represent emotional state of each of the partners. I don't know how that works, but it just seems like it's going to make it a little trickier than playing the regular game, and I dig that. There's also, now you can play solo somehow. I don't know how that works, but that's kind of interesting too, because this game's fantastic, and it's hard to always get it. Oh, there's also a private eye case. It's hard to get this game played because it's just a 2-player game, and those we usually have more than 2 people hanging out. So yeah, I love this game. More for this game is awesome, and I want everybody to experience this game because it's so fun. So if it comes more readily available, I can't talk, and you can maybe pick up the first season 2, get it all because it's so good. So Lawyer Up Season 2, my number 3.
Yeah, we have played this, but yeah, just not enough because we usually are playing with other people. And so if we are going to play a 2-player game, we'll usually pick like a big heavy Euro that we don't want to play with any more than 2 players. But this game is super good. The next expansion I want to talk about, we don't know a ton about yet, but I love the base game and want to play it at 2 players actually. And that is Iki. And the new expansion is called Iki Akebono, which actually you get the bridge of Nihonbashi. So you expand the street. So in Iki, you're kind of going at the markets up and down the street in Edo, which is modern day Tokyo. And you're collecting things, you're getting fish, you're getting tobacco on pipes, you're getting all this stuff, you're trying to let your buildings catch on fire, etc. So the expansion is supposed to have new character cards and new building cards, more pipe, tobacco, fish kind of things. But you also have this bridge, and with this bridge comes like new people. So apparently famous personalities from the Edo era, which I do not know, famous personalities from the Edo area of Japan. Shame on me. But Hokusai Katsushika, Sanyo Rai, Tokunai Mogami. Thank goodness you didn't pick this one.
No, I knew better.
Are famous personalities apparently from the Edo era that you could meet on the bridge. So I'm going to assume they give you bonuses and things. But you can also trade with ships that are in the river. And you can also build ships to go in the river, which is kind of like, I think when you're putting people in shops, that you kind of own that shop and then people can trade with you and stuff. And you can get things from it. Same with these boats. That sounds cool. This game is gorgeous, of course. And now it has a gorgeous bridge. I cannot wait. So that is Iki Akebono expansion.
Yeah, Iki's great. So more stuff for Iki is always good. So I'm going to tell you my number 2. Now, this is going to take me a while to explain because it's got a lot of stuff going on. And it is called ZhanGuo expansion. And when I said there was a lot of stuff going on, I was just kidding. Because literally the BGG page says, ZhanGuo expansion is, if I had to hazard a guess, an expansion for ZhanGuo. That's it. That's all it says. There's no picture other than a box cover. On the box cover, there's a boat. So I'm going to assume this is going to add some kind of shipping to the game. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But I like ZhanGuo. I don't feel like it needs an expansion because that thing is like super brain burning as it is. Mm-hmm. But more for it is always welcome. I'm not going to get this probably because we barely play ZhanGuo and more would be too much. But if you're into ZhanGuo and you play it a lot and you want more, well, you're going to get an expansion that is about something, but no one knows what. So my number 2, ZhanGuo.
Didn't you say this was already on Kickstarter at some point?
It was. There was like a reprint of like Madeira and ZhanGuo, I think, but they were delayed for years. I don't know about the whole thing, but it still hasn't delivered or it just started to deliver. I'm not sure how it all went down.
Okay. So probably not if we don't even know what it is.
Correct. And people were angry about it. The only couple comments on the page are people. There's angry one people complaining about how long it took. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Continuing the Asian theme, my number 2 is a game that I don't own the original, but I want it and I've played it and I love it. And now I need everything. And that's Tang Garden. So Tang Garden now has a big box. Hello. And the big box has all the expansions, including the new one, Seasons, which is gorgeous looking, obviously. So in the Tang Garden Big Box, you've got Golden Age, Ghost Stories, Seasons, and all these other little promos like Apricot Tree and etc. I love this game. I don't even know if it's a good game, to be honest, because I just am so caught up in putting like people and trees and pagodas out on the board. That's all I care about. I am designing and landscaping that garden, and I'm putting these beautiful like backgrounds up, and there might be dragons in there, and I just love it. And I just want more. So I'm like, good. I'm glad we don't own this because we can just go get the big box and I will have it all. I will have everything. Right, honey? You're going to buy this for me?
I was nodding. You just don't know how I was nodding. Sure, yeah.
That's what I thought you said. Yes.
No, I do want this game. It's really good.
Yes, it's like I love how it's yeah. Why wouldn't I want this? You got the Imperial Garden of the Majestic Clear Lake, and it does say it's a Zen-like game, and it does. I feel so Zen-like when I play it. So I need the Tang Garden Big Box with all the expansions. That's my number 2 choice.
Yeah, the weird thing about this game is it's basically a Carcassonne kind of game, but really? the production, yeah, you're just placing tiles down, but the production elevates it to a different level because it looks really nice. And yeah, there's a little more going on than Carcassonne, but that's like the complexity of it. But the production makes it seem like it's a little bit more. I dig that.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
All right. So my number 1, this was the first one that was on the list. Actually, Katie wrote it down for me. That's how much she knew it was going to be my number 1.
I did.
And it is Wonderland's War, Shards of Madness. This should surprise nobody. I'm super excited for this expansion. It's a little mini expansion. It's just cards. But what it does is it adds new Wonderlandians, which are like, if you don't know what Wonderland's War, they're cards that help you in the battles when you're pulling stuff out of your bag for like, they give you powers and stuff. So these new Wonderlandians are going to be able to use to take shards and then give you some kind of special power with them. But that's tricky because shards are worth negative points at the end of the game, so you're trying to balance all that out. There's also cards that if you win, if you're the leader in a fight, you get some extra points. And there's also, if you win in the starting battle, you can get this extra card and get some extra points as well. It's not a ton of differences. It just gives you more stuff to go along with the battle portion of the game. But I love this game. So more stuff, more options, I'm down with. Now, if they can just give me more cards to use as for the tokens, you know, there's A, B, C, and D. Give me an E, F, G, and H. We'll be in business. So maybe next time. But that's my number one, Wonderland's War, Shards of Madness.
I mean, we don't even use A, B, C, and D all the time. Part of it is because I think there could be better options for them.
Agreed. I agree. I think A is the best one, honestly.
Yes.
The other ones just didn't feel that good when we played with them.
Well, and some of them are, I feel like they're more attacking maybe in nature or something.
Maybe. That could be.
They just don't do what I want them to do. That's really the issue. My number one is one that I want, and probably no one else does, for reasons I can't begin to fathom. Because I absolutely love, love, love the base game. And that is Castles of Mad King Ludwig. And the expansion that's coming out is Renovations. I honestly don't remember if I covered this, if it was already on Kickstarter. I don't know. But in Renovations, there are double-sided tiles. So that can let you like score points differently. You can, I think, build over other tiles that exist. And honestly, I freaking love just the names, and I love the variety of different kinds of rooms. So, of course, I'm down with an expansion. Like, I'm looking at one tile that is called the Candy Stash. Are you kidding me? Get me that in my castle. There's a freaking cafeteria. There, what was the other one I saw? There's an undercroft. I don't even know what that means, but I want it. There's a pergola that goes like outside. I love this game. And again, I love it because I just want to design my own crazy castle. A hibernatorium, get out. It's a sleeping room with all these beds everywhere. It's everything. An ice cream parlor. I mean, just give me new fun rooms. And I'm there, and add like more ways for me to like try and balance like scoring, and like up the ways to whatever that mechanic is where I'm trying to make the best of everything in the place that it is and get these double bonuses hitting off each other. Yes, please. There isn't, again, I guess there's not a ton of description. Like BGG just says, that there are special double room type tiles that you can use to renovate your castle while you build it, get double the completion rewards, and fulfill favors twice as fast. And that's all that's there, except the pictures that I was looking at that made me very, very excited. So yeah, my number one is Castles of Mad King Ludwig Renovations.
Is this only for the deluxe version, or is it for the regular version too?
Isn't you mean the deluxe version, the big version?
Yeah, the big version. Yeah.
No, this looks like regular. Just regular.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, that's what I meant, the big one.
No, regular. At least from the pictures I saw. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They sent a press release. I posted it. I read through it, but it was like 1 billion words, so I moved on. Yeah, like you do. But
no, you do.
Well, yeah, that's true. Like I do. That's true. So we do have some honorable mentions. I'll try not to be as terrible this week as I was last week, because apparently I was pretty bad. But who knows? You get what you pay for. So let's just talk about some honorable mentions that I have. I'm going to do some. Katie will do some. And then, we'll get out of your hair because we've been talking for a while. So the first one that I wanted to talk about is Santa's Workshop 2nd Edition. Now, we have Santa's Workshop. It's a fantastic game. I haven't really looked into this one too much. I know the box looks fantastic on it. I do know that. And they probably cleaned up some stuff because that's what any good 2nd edition would do. But Santa's Workshop's a great worker placement game, collecting wood, metal, plastic to build these toys. put them on Santa's sleigh so they can get delivered to kids for points. That's the gist of the game. Worker placement. All the elves have different special powers that you can build throughout the game. It's fantastic. So check that one out. Ancient Terrible Things Reawakened, which is basically a reprint of Ancient Terrible Things and the expansion. It's going to be coming to Kickstarter at some point. And this is a Yahtzee game where you are trying to defeat Cthulhu or different types of creatures to score points. But if you try to go fight a creature and you can't, you fail, and you will get some madness. And too many madness get taken, the game's over. And you're just trying to have the most points by the time the game ends. And fantastic game. Great art. Don't know what the expansion adds because I've never played it. But it's already a good game, so the expansion probably makes it better. Watson and Holmes 2, which is a sequel to Watson and Holmes, or re-implementation. It says re-implementation on BGG, but I think it's really a standalone sequel. And this is kind of like a worker movement game where you're moving around these different locations trying to find clues to solve cases. And I don't know how many cases are going to be in the game. There was like 6 or 7 in the original. So you're trying to get there. First person that gets there gets to read the clue. You have to spend carriage tokens to move around. And you're just trying to piece the answer together by what you're reading. Kind of like 221 Baker Street, the game we talked about not that long ago. And the last one that I'm going to talk about is the newest expansion for Bang, the card game. And it's called The Great Train Robbery. And we just looked this up a little bit today at lunch. And this is basically adding a train and some train tracks. But these train tracks are basically going to be used like event cards, but not bad events, good things that you can do in your turn. So every time it's the sheriff's turn, you're going to move this train. It's going to make it available so everybody has access to this train station card. And you can spin some stuff, take the card, and it'll be helpful on your turn at some point. And it's just going to help you do cooler things in the game. So more cards for Bang is always a good thing because we recently played Bang not that long ago and it was awesome. So yeah, Bang, The Great Train Robbery. Those are the ones that I have.
Okay, a couple more we're excited about. There's another expansion for Role Player Adventures called Gulpax's Secret. It's 7 new adventures. You have to have Role Player Adventures in order to get this one. But it looks like if you like that, it's just more adventures. They've got pre-made characters that you can use, or you can develop your own. Tanto Cuore has a new standalone expansion of Memento Mori, which we talked about when it was on Kickstarter. It's got this cool new ghost feature happening. I really like Tanto Cuore expansions because they do what's good about Tanto Cuore, but then they usually add one thing, a new mechanic that makes them different. And then this one can also layer with the other games as well. And again, I'm always pumped for more Tanto Cuore because I love me some deck builders. And then finally, Tekhenu, which I really like. And we already have a mini expansion for this and haven't played it yet, which is shame on us because I really love this game. Tekhenu Obelisk of the Sun has a Warmth of a Cat mini expansion. And it's got cat meeples. I mean, come on. So you're placing these on buildings that people have built, which is so cat-like. I'm just going to lay on top of your building. But it's a different way to score points. Just a little mini expansion that you can add in there. And I'm always excited about a new shaped meeple.
Yeah, I mean, it's thematic too because,
Yeah, it happens on a best turn. So, yes.
Yep.
It makes sense. All right, so those are our top 5 expansions and reprints that are coming out this year, along with a set of some honorable mentions. So much like last week, I would love to hear more about what expansions you're excited about. Did you know about any of these? Do you have more insider information about these than we do? Probably. Please tell us. Come to our Facebook page, #TheRiveted, our Instagram, our Twitter, our YouTubes. We love hearing feedback from you guys. Also, y'all know more about new games and stuff coming out, I guarantee, than we do. So if you know of something that we didn't mention that you're yeah, I really want to get this, I'm so excited about it, or you backspinning Kickstarter because we probably didn't, tell us about it if it's expansion or reprint on our socials.
Yeah, I got nothing to say. You did a good job. Good
I know.
job.
I feel like we need something for you to say like every time, like.
And that's the way it was, and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Not like that. Not like a sign-off tagline, but just I need to give you one piece of information that you have to recite.
And Katie told me to say this.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I wonder. I didn't mention. You should talk about our YouTube. I forgot to talk about it in the news piece.
What about it?
I highlighted it on the outline. I'm trying to like make radio happen, and you are just killing the magic.
I closed the outline. Hang on.
Oh my gosh, never mind. Okay, so Jason's out. I'm still looking for a new co-host. Also, I mentioned in news, Hollywood 1947. We have a video on our YouTube page reviewing that. So
you're right.
If you're interested and unsure, check that out.
We actually have videos for some of their other games too. So if you like that game, you can go check out some of the other ones that we've done. I think we have Bristol and Deadwood. Not sure about the other two, but definitely Bristol and Deadwood if you're interested.
Okay. Well, this actually hasn't been as long as I thought it was.
No, this is actually a pretty
shorter episode. I think last week's was so long because you just fumbled about like a doofus, and I was just really upset the whole time.
I did. I don't know what was going on.
This time you just stumbled at the finish line, so there's that.
I mean, I got to have some stumbles or it wouldn't be me, right?
Oy vey. All right, well, it's past my bedtime, so I've been Katie.
And I'm Jason the Doofus.
Keep gaming, everybody.
Keep gaming.
I don't think I specifically called you a doofus. I just said you were being a doofus.